Hi everyone and welcome back. It is time for a long overdue book haul. I should have done this a while back because just doing the thumbnail for this video was ridiculous. I don't know how people hold up so many books because my stack of books is really heavy. I'm gonna break this up by genre just like I do for my wrap-ups, otherwise let's jump in. Now, starting with horror books, I received two from the same author. The first one being Disco Death Trap by Cameron Rubik. This is a fantastic horror story that I've already read and I'm going to be doing a review on that, so watch for it soon. But this is basically a piece of slasher horror. It is set on New Year's and follows a group of teenagers who decide to spend the day at the roller rink, but terrible things ensue when a killer shows up. It's a lot of fun, it's really gory. Again, I have a full review, but if you don't want to wait for that, you can tell that I really enjoyed this one and do recommend it. So I am very excited to actually receive a physical copy of this. It's got a fantastic cover and it's just as much fun as it sounds. Now, the other horror book I got is by the same author, and that is Kill River by Cameron Rubik. And if you can see here that this cover is equally as fun. This is another slasher horror book that is about a group of teenagers that go to a summer camp and then they sneak off to a water park. I have not read this one yet, but I really want to. I'm kind of holding off until closer to the spring just because it sounds like a really good summer read, but I'm sure I'll be doing a review on this one as well, and I've heard really good reviews about it, so it's one that is definitely on the top of my list and I will report back once I've read it. But since I liked his other books so much, I have a good feeling about this one as well, so stay tuned for that. Next, I want to haul the only book that I received for Christmas, and that is Dust by Arthur Slade. This I received from my brother and sister-in-law, and they got it for me because they said it was one of the creepiest books they had ever read. They don't read really horror, but this, I understand, is a young adult book that is part suspense, part mystery. It's set in the Canadian prairies during the Great Depression era, and it follows a boy whose younger brother has gone missing, and his other brother is now trying to track him down and figure out what happens, and he thinks that a man who's come to the town promising to bring rain might be responsible. They just said that this is a super creepy book. They wanted me to read it, and I feel like it's pretty underhyped because it's more of a Canadian lit book, so I'll definitely be checking this out soon. It's quite a short book, so I should be able to just fly through this. Now I want to talk mysteries and thrillers, and no surprise, I bought myself a copy of I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. This is one of my favorite books. I gushed about it all last year and I've done a separate review on this. So I'm not going to say tons about the plot, but you know I love it. And even though a lot of people don't tend to reread mystery and suspense books, this is one that when you finish it, you will want to reread it. And I've been dying to reread it ever since then. So I wanted to get myself a copy. I could see myself reading this year after year, and it's just fantastic. I really wish I could have gotten the American cover that has all the writing scratched out, but this is what's available in Canada, so I went with this, which is still a really nice cover too. I also received a copy of Bonfire by Kristen Ritter from Penguin Random House Canada, and this was sent as a review copy. I have done a review of this. I enjoyed it, but it didn't blow me away. I've read stories like this so many times. It's about a young woman who goes back to her hometown to investigate a mysterious event and has to deal with her past. And it was good, but it just, again, wasn't amazing. So I'm glad I read it. The cover is actually really gorgeous. I didn't appreciate how nice the cover was until I got a physical copy, but it is a really nice one to have on my shelf, and it's a very short read as well. I flew through it very quickly. Next is a book I have not read yet, but hope to do soon, and that is The Devil of Nanking by Mo Hader. I included this in my 5-star predictions TBR because I've heard great things about this. I understand it's about a woman who investigates the Nanking massacre, and it's supposed to be super dark, super creepy. I really don't know much more about the plot, but the people who've really enjoyed it, I trust their opinions. So when I saw it for just a couple dollars, even though I hadn't read it yet, I decided to pick it up for myself. I usually try to wait until I've actually read books to buy them for myself, but I have high hopes that this will become a favorite, and it was super cheap, so I'm allowed to treat myself. So yeah, excited for this one as well. Next, I picked up a copy of True Crime Addict by James Renner, and this is a nonfiction true crime account of a woman who went missing back in the 90s, and the author is trying to investigate what happened to her and solve this mystery. This book is, like the title sounds, incredibly addicting. I love this book. I've been meaning to reread it since I first read it because it's the kind of investigative journalism that I love. I feel like all the clues might somehow be in this book, and maybe if I reread it, I'll be able to figure out what happened, and it was just so compelling. So it's one that I've been dying to get back to, and I just really wanted a copy of it. So I'm very excited to do that and hopefully do a reread at some point in the future. But if you haven't picked this up, it's just fantastic. It reads like fiction because it is just so gripping. So I am very excited to get my hands on a copy of this. Now I want to talk about science fiction, and I picked up a copy of Grimspace by Anna Guire at a used library book sale for just like 50 cents. This follows a young woman who has the ability to jump ships through a system called Grimspace, which is very taxing on her body and might shorten her lifespan. It's very risky to do, but she does this for a living, and at the beginning of the story, something happens, she gets in trouble. I understand this book has a lot of elements of romance, which normally is not my thing, but I figure if I go into it knowing that that's part of the story, I'll be okay if I just wait till I'm in the right mood for it, because every once in a while I do enjoy a romance story too. And I'm just hoping that this is a really good escapist read. I haven't read it yet, but I plan to get to it very soon. And it looks like it's very short, just a little mass market paperback. So I have high hopes for this one. So if you have read it, do let me know, but everything I've heard about it so far sounds really fun. I also got a beautiful copy of Persepolis Rising by James S.A. Corey, which of course is the 7th book in the Expanse series, that space opera series that you've heard me gushing about for years on my channel. And this is a series that has great characters, great adventure, and again, it's just that escapist read that I really love when it comes to science fiction. The artwork is beautiful. I've been able to get almost all of these in hardcover, and I just love these. I display them on my shelves and just cannot wait for the last 2 books to come out. So you know me, I love these books. I've done a separate review, which is spoiler free, so you can go check that out. Okay, enough gushing about this for now. Now I feel like I've been talking about this book in every single video lately, but in case you missed it, I got a copy of Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant, which I got from Orbit Books and absolutely loved. It is a science fiction book with elements of horror that is all about killer mermaids. I absolutely love this one. It was one of the best science fiction books I read last year. I just thought it was gripping with great characters, great adventure, lots of interesting marine science, and I just really enjoy it. So here we go. I am so glad I have a copy of it. It's really beautiful, all in hardcover, and I just keep plugging it because I want more and more people to read it because I really loved it. Lastly, I picked up a fantasy series, and I have not splurged on books like this in a while, but I decided to pick up all 3 books in the Mistborn Trilogy. I bought these with a gift card when I was only partway through the first book, but I realized how much I loved it. I knew I was going to give it 5 stars, and I just wanted to own the whole series so I didn't have to wait for library copies. I knew I wanted to reread them, and these are the copies I got. So I'll show you. The first one is Mistborn or the Final Empire. For some reason, they seem to have 2 different names for this first one, which is a little bit confusing. And I also got the second book, The Wall of Ascension, and I got the third book, of course, which is The Hero of Ages. I feel like I don't need to give much of a synopsis of these. Everyone knows about the Mistborn books. You're probably looking at this and saying, no, Rachel, why didn't you get the pretty white editions? The answer is that I was using a gift card, which only worked at a Canadian bookstore, so I had to get the covers that were available in Canada because those white covers are, I believe, UK editions. But I'm actually really happy with these. These are the larger trade backs and are just like nice and floppy. And I just know I'm going to read these and reread them because this is kind of escapist reads that I just need some time. And I just love this series. So far I've only read Mistborn, but I'm really confident that I'm going to love the last 2. So I bought the whole trilogy, which I rarely do. As I mentioned, when it comes to buying books, the reason I don't do more book hauls is the fact that I really try to only buy books that I've already read and know that I'm going to love, because those are the books that I want to keep and have copies on my shelf. but every once in a while I start a series and just know I'm gonna love it. And this is the case with Mistborn. The last time I've done something like this was with the Expanse series, and I did not go wrong with that, so I feel really confident buying these that I'm not gonna regret having them on my shelves, ready to go when I need to pick up the next book. It'll be there waiting for me. So that is Mistborn. So yeah, super excited for that. So that is the end of my long overdue book haul. I'm gonna try to do these a little more regularly. I would love to know if you're planning on picking up any of the books I mentioned here, and of the ones I haven't read yet, please let me know which ones I should prioritize. If there's one particular you think that will be right up my alley, maybe I'll read that one sooner than later, and I will report back with book reviews and all that good stuff. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this, and I will talk to you again soon. Okay, bye-bye.